Hello, good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great weekend. I put some makeup for you today. Just a quick minute video. Uh, just a message, I've seen a few videos these days about self-sabotage and gambling and stuff like that, and I want to talk about relationships. Because sometimes on social media you get ideas and stuff, you make yourself some scenarios, hopes, and then you just get disappointed. And honestly, I've said it before, I do not want a social media relationships, at least in terms of boyfriend and girlfriend and someone that you want to share your life every day and stuff like that. People say, I want it to be just us, but yet everything is public. And when you try to write or invite, then they don't answer to you. And I'm like, no. And then they complain that you're trying to move on, or you're not focusing on this one thing, and they're like, oh, you're self-sabotaging yourself because you know what you want but you're going another direction. Yeah, but sometimes you know what you want and you wait for what you want and you block yourself doors of things that you can do on your own because you're waiting on people that never show up. So what is it exactly that you have to do? I mean, do you have to wait around for other people? Or for me, I'm completely, I love social media. I'm passionate. I want to have conversations and stuff like that. And when it comes to my relationships, I don't pronounce myself anymore. I don't make any more declarations, public declarations, or ideas or envisions, because every time I've done that, it did not work. It did not work, and I've been disappointed. And so it's not that it's gambling, it's not that I'm self-sabotaging, it's that I have my own boundaries of, I do not want a social media relationships, mostly when it's for someone that you've traveled for and you've wrote to and you've sent gifts or letters or invitations that is not being responded. You have to come to the evidence that maybe they're just not interested. And if they are, what is stopping them from coming and inviting you? And I don't know, like, we all want this certainty. And like, for me, every time I get so excited, oh my God, this is it. I'm gonna get married. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that and stuff. And then people don't even show up for a date or a trip, or you show up for them, they don't even pick up. Or, I mean, it's good to dream, but at some point, when you're a parent, you have responsibilities, you have bills, you have dreams also. You can't just spend your life waiting around. Like, I feel like men nowadays, they want the women to do all the, I don't know, the poetry, or I don't know, to take the decision, take the first step. Oh, this is her. Well, I'm waiting on what she says. So I can be sure. It's like, when are you sure? When are you sure if you have never even tried it, or met or tried or take a risk? So I'm back to the old school now. I'm like, if a guy wants you, he needs to come and serenade you. He needs to bring you flowers. He needs to travel for you. Mostly if you're in the same country and just a flight away. And there's no excuses, really. There's no excuses. So it's not gambling. It's not self-sabotage. It's just boundaries. It's just preservation. And yes, I'm redirecting my entire life now outside. I keep doing the social media even though I don't want to spend too much time there, because yeah, I've lost myself in there. I appreciate and love so much. I've met people that I love. Oh my God, I have never met them, but I love them just even more than my own life sometimes. But then sometimes you have to get back to reality. What do you need to accomplish right here, right now, for your life to keep going? And you can't just wait on others to do that. When I was going to go to Peru, my best friend was supposed to come with me, and we were like, oh yeah, let's go to Peru, you know, it's gonna be so awesome, we're gonna find a job, we're gonna share an apartment, stuff like that. And just before leaving, I had my plane ticket, everything, you know, I'm finding the job and stuff. And you know, she was like, oh yeah, let's do it and stuff. And then she's like, no, I'm not coming, you know, this is your dream. And I was like, all right, like, you really, you know, you people will let you down like that, and even your best friend, and I still love her and she's still my best friend. And but you then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna start doing things on my own now. And all of my life I regretted that all I've done is on my own, because I was like, this is so sad to not share these moments, these successes, these failures, you know, with someone. Maybe I would take different roads when you have someone next to you every day that you can ask, what should I do? Should I write this like that, or should I make it differently? Or you know, how do I do this business or this relationship? Or even just support each other, encourage each other, like pump each other up, you know. um, I've always regretted that I didn't find that. I was a little bit at the beginning with my husband, but when we had a child, everything changed. So because when you have a child, you can't just do whatever you want anymore. You have responsibility 24/7. So 24/7 responsibility means that you have to consult with the other person before you make commitments, you know. And it's not the other person is depriving me from my freedom, you know, I'm no longer free, oh my god, this is hell, or this is prison. No, when you have kids, it's respecting the other person's schedule, you know, that you arrange. Okay, I'm not going to be here for these days or this time, you know. What are we doing? How are we planning with the kids? Are you available? Do I take him? Whatever, you know. But then it changes. You have to take all this into considerations. Personally, I have my son, I have my house, huge bills to pay and everything. I'm not waiting around anymore. That's it. I'm taking a slow route. I'm starting over on my own. But sometimes you need to have the paper written, black and white, the contract, the love letter. You need to have something, you know, that says, okay, we're doing this. I'm not just here waiting on the air on, I don't know, you know, someone you've tried to convince many times, and they, you know, there is love, but they're just still not showing up. So what to do? You can't force people. And another thing I wanted to say is that I'm on diet. I'm on a diet because I want to talk about weight a little bit, even if it's a completely different topic. Personally, I love my body when I'm really, really skinny. Because I don't have I don't have big boobs, you know. I'm like, if I get fat, it's all in my belly and my face. I don't get fat in my boobs. I don't get fat on my booty, or, you know, my legs looking firmer or whatever. No, it's all either on my belly and my face. So if like I'm making a video and I'm just 5 pounds over, like just 2 kilos, I look like a fat girl. I do not like the proportions of my body, how it feels on my belly. You know, I like to be very skinny, like 90 pounds. So the secret, why am I always skinny and I've never been more than 100 pounds? I always usually go between 90 and 100. 90 pounds and 100 pounds. This is all my life I've been there. The worst time of my life, the fattest I've been, is when I was in England, because the food was so bad that I was never satisfied. You know, I was never, like, I would eat, I would be full, but it's, you know, I love food. I'm French. I love to go to a fancy restaurant. I like to have the food, or even if it's not fancy, even in Peru, I would go to the cantina, you know, but the food is so good. It's homemade, you know, it's tasty, it's nourishing. So I like good food and good taste and healthy and stuff. So when I was in England, I was eating a lot, but I was never satisfied to feeling like, oh, what is it really that my body needs and wants. So I kept trying something else. I remember eating all day. I was like, oh, I'm going to do a tuna, corn, and mayo sandwich. That sounds so delicious. I would eat that all the time. Doritos, then, I would find whatever and I would keep eating, or even the Caesar salad, that fatty sauce dressing that they put on it, all this kind of stuff, which tastes good, but in the end, it's not healthy for you. So I put on a lot of weight. I put on 20 pounds when I was in England. I came back, I was like a clownfish. But then I came back to France. I smoked a lot of weed for a month and I lost all the weight. So the secret to not put on weight is that to not let the weight in, to not let the weight settle. All right. It's okay to get a little bigger. I don't mind. When I went to Egypt, or when I ate a lot on the cruise. I put on weight a lot when I was in Egypt. I lose the weight right away when I came back. Or Peru, I put on a lot of weight because I was like, ooh, I love the Peruvian food. I'm going to go to the restaurant every day. And Esteban didn't eat anything, so I had to eat my plate, but all of his plates every day. So I was eating 2-3 times the quantities. And now I feel like, okay, the weight usually takes about 6 to 8 months to come in. And after that, it starts settling. You can start seeing in your belly. But all this weight that you take 6 months to 8 months to start putting in, it's really easy to lose it in like 3 days, honestly. I just first off, eat healthy. And this is why most people who get fat, they keep... that don't eat healthy, they keep getting fat because they're not really satisfied with what they're eating. So they keep eating, they keep looking, and consciously they think they're hungry, but they're not hungry. They keep looking for that delicious thing that's, like, for example, I eat almost every day now, I eat a wrap. I eat a wrap with avocados, cucumbers, tomatoes, crispy sweet peppers, spinach, hummus, and vegan mayo, and lemon, and olive oil. This is everything healthy. The entire thing, even the wrap, is made of like a spinach flour or whatever. I'm like, all of this stuff is healthy, and I eat it and I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. I'm like, oh my God. I eat one of these and that's it. I'm not there like, or if I munch on stuff, sometimes on the computer, I like to munch on stuff. So I munch on, sometimes I munch on chips, but since I've been putting on weight, I'm stopping this. I munch on coconut, pieces of coconut, fresh coconut. Okay, so, but now literally for 3 days, I'm not gonna eat. I'm gonna smoke a lot and I'm not gonna eat a lot. I'm just gonna eat juices, mostly celery juice or whatever, just for 3 days. I'm gonna lose all the weight. I'm lucky because I don't have a metabolism that just accumulate fat. So it's really easy. But if you let the weight settle in, if you're seeing like you're starting to put on weight and you keep eating badly, then it will be more, and then it will be more, and then it's difficult. Then it's difficult to lose it. So as soon as you start to see a little bit of a belly, that's it. You just 2 days of diet, lots of lemon, green tea with lemon, lots of lemon. I drink these ginger shots every day. Actually, I drink one right now. And smoke weed if you can, if you have a job or whatever, or a state where it's legal and you're allowed, you don't have controls or whatever. The best of everything is smoke weed. Smoke weed because it just activates your metabolism so fast. Like literally you eat and you smoke and then you go to the bathroom and that's it. You're always slim. Your body doesn't accumulate the stuff. It just processes the food. It relaxes your stomach. Okay, relaxes your stomach. So instead of your stomach being tense digesting, you're eating, your stomach is relaxed, and you can process the food faster. Even though you would think, oh, it's relaxed, it's working less. No, smoking actually activates my brain, my inspiration, my creativity. I'm a lot faster and more focused. See, I smoked a little bit yesterday, but then it stays in my system for a few days. I don't need to smoke every day, even if I smoke a little bit at night. You see, today I put on makeup. My entire body is more relaxed. I'm more motivated to be pretty, to be inspired, to not eat too much, because if you don't smoke, then your body is looking for something to relax. We have this natural anxiety. I mean, our body constantly wants reassurance, comfort. So maybe it's love from someone and hugs and kisses and stuff. If you don't have that, then you need comfort, the food, or. But if you smoke just a little bit, it relaxes all your body, and then you're not that hungry. It compensates. You're not that hungry. So that's my little diet tips. Yeah. What was I gonna say about the lazy, right? The lazy. Yes. Yeah. For the breastfeeding, this is one thing I wanted to say. For example, to illustrate my point that smoking or whatever doesn't make you lazy. When I was breastfeeding my baby, when I came out of the hospital, I had to take this handful of antibiotics because I had a UTI, I mean, whatever. And that completely stopped my breast production. So I really wanted to breastfeed him, but I had nothing, like just a few drops. It was very frustrating. But I still kept going. I was like, I'm not going to give up. Even if it's just a little bit, I'm going to complement with formula, but I'm just going to give him breastfeeding as long as I can. So for 7 months, I still breastfed him a little bit of every day, as much as I could. The only times where I had a big production of milk was when I was drinking. So I wasn't smoking because I was breastfeeding, but I'd drink champagne. And I remember I would feed the baby. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to feed him before I put him to bed. So then I'm going to have a little cup of champagne before the night. I would drink a cup of champagne, and literally half an hour after, I'm like breast full of milk. I start pumping and I feel almost like a bottle, which for me was like, what? Like, and I was like, okay, what do I do with this? Like, do I keep it for him even though there's alcohol, or do I toss it? You know, I would keep it and still give it to him, because I was like, wow, this is precious at that point. This is gold milk. Like, and you know, he never had like a full bottle of my milk. So I was like, okay, no, I'm keeping it. And I realized that because I was drinking, so I wasn't wasted, I had just a tiny cup of champagne, my body was relaxed, and therefore opened up the channel and the production could improve. So this is the same with the weed. If you're constantly stressed or thinking of anxiety, your problems and stuff, or another thing, or two other things I want to talk about, you're blocking your channels. So if you're smoking, you're reopening the channels of creativity and redynamize your body. Okay, it's the sativa you need to smoke. Sativa, not the indica, they will put you to bed. But the sativa is actually stimulating. So fake ideas about drugs, the weed, the plants, okay, the sacred plant, weed, plants that are used and smoked in all tribes and cultures around the world. Also, I want to talk also about two other things, about the struggles. Just the very same way you see the struggle. It's not because you're anxious and you're struggling and you're pushing your body that you actually produce more. Sometimes you smoke, you relax more, and you're more productive. I think it's the same concept for life, you know, this idea that you have to struggle to appreciate what you have. I just can't relate to that, because this is not my journey. My mom gave me my first car. She got a new car, and she gave me the old car. I took care. I was so excited that I took my driver's license like 3 times or 4 times before I had it, because the first time I was so confident. The first time I was so confident, and I drove so well. And at some point, I don't know, I broke too strong or whatever. The monitor didn't give it. And in France, like driver's license, it's a business, right? So they're most likely not going to give it to you the first time. You have to go 2-3 more times. So you can keep pouring money into driving classes and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. You spend thousands of dollars in France to do your driver's license. But anyway, so I do all my driver's lessons. Finally, I get my 19 years old, I get my driver's license. And my mom, at that point, she needs a new car, and she gives me the old car. I always took such good care. I kept this car for 10 years. I've been 10 years for this car. And then instead of having to pay for my car, you know, I could travel, explore the world. And then all my studies in France, you don't pay for university. We don't have student debt. I gave everything I got. I followed my studies all along as much as I could. I went and traveled. Instead of, you know, having to work for paying off my car, which is most the basic, I I could focus on my studies. I could write letters to go to the jobs that I loved. And 25 years old, because I didn't have to work for my car, because I didn't have to work for my studies, this was given to me. 25 years old, I had my dream job, my dream career. I was working my butt off. When I went to Peru, same thing. I went to Peru, I sold, to get my plane tickets to go to Peru, I sold these little, someone gave me those little gold coins collectors. When I was a child, you know, I would have the little good points. You know, if you do something good, you have good points. After 10 good points, you get a big image. After 10 big image, you get a gold coin. So that was kind of my reward system. In my house with one of my stepfathers when I was younger. And I sold those that I thought I was going to keep all my life, but then that bought me my plane ticket to go to Peru. And then because of these facilities, you know, I could, that it was made easy for me, I could focus on my bigger future and my bigger things. And I don't think that if I had struggled, I would have appreciated more. No, I would have not. Right now that I'm struggling, I'm not appreciating, you know, I have this beautiful house here and I barely take the time to be in the pool with Esteban and stuff because I'm struggling, I'm focusing on my work and stuff. And I feel like I'm passing through my child because I'm constantly like, oh my God, I'm with him playing, but I should be working, I should be making money, I should be finding another solution after trying to find all this solution. I should try to do better, you know. And sometimes he argues, he's like, you're always on your computer. I'm like, no, but you saw last time I had to sell my car, okay? If I don't work more, and next time it's gonna be the house, you know? And I don't think it makes you appreciate more. It's just like, I mean, yes, sometimes you have to work for it. I'm not saying that. In Peru, in Bahrain, I worked my butt off. And right now I'm still working. But it's not because you struggle that you're gonna appreciate something more. Literally, I think for Esteban, and this is the last thing I wanted to say, for Esteban, I want him to have this house. I've always had, and I'm going to tell you why, because sometimes I can sound a little materialistic, you know, oh, all I want is to pay off my house. All I want is to pay off my house. But why is it so important to me? Because I've never had a house. Since I was young, it was always me and my mom and the stepfather are going. Then I would travel a lot. So every time I would come home to France, I would never have a place. I would have to go back to my parents or my stepfathers, that the relationships were not really great. You know, and it was always never my house. Then I went in Peru, I had roommates, and then I moved. And then in US, then I came with my husband, but he was always, oh, I pay for everything. So all of my life, I've felt like I wasn't in my house, and then I would have to, you know, look for an apartment. There was always this thing of like, oh, if you want to rent an apartment, you need to have 3 months of a job and stuff like that. Like if you're not in the system, this was always been, I'm like, no, man, I want my son to not have to worry about a house. I want him to know that this is granted. This is granted for him. He has a house. Now he can focus on what he really wants to do in life, on his studies, on diving into, you know, his passion. You know, everything I'm doing on my computer and stuff, if this was bringing me $1 million, I would work just as much, even maybe more, because I'd be like, oh man, there is reward. And now finally, you know, I can do it without the stress. I would probably not be talking as much about all the financial, the anxiety and stuff. I would be diving more into the passion. So yes, sometimes it's also good to have the struggle, because you can turn this anger into creative fire, but it's not the only source. Anger and anxiety is not the only source that you can use to convert into positive energy. Love and joy and abundance is also something that you can convert into and alchemize into the creative energy. So just a little, how do you say, notion, I wanted to say about that, because for me it's important. It's the safety of having a place to land on. Mostly if you're in a family where the relationships are not really good, every time you go back to France, I'm like, I don't want to force my relationships. I don't want to fake be nice, with some people just because I need to stay at their place. I don't want to fake be nice to my dad because when I go back to France, I need to stay in his apartment. No, if he's, acting bad one day and I wasn't scared to tell him my way to think. Next time I went to France, he didn't let me stay in his apartment because he was still mad. I was like, okay, I don't care. Whatever, keep your apartment. I don't want to have to fake my authenticity because someone has something that I need, and I don't want this for Esteban either. I want to always. So yeah, so that was the other specification on why I'm so obsessed with the house and having that. Before I had a child, if I didn't have Esteban, before I had a child, I was never like that. I was like, oh, okay, I don't care, whatever, I can go anywhere, but then when you have kids, it's different. So if you have kids, give them the freaking car. Give them the freaking car. Stop trying to make it complicated or have lessons. Another thing I wanted to say, if you've raised your kids, if you put all of this energy into raising your kids the right way, and they're great people on their own, even without you teaching them, they're already great souls and people, plus with all the way you educated them and stuff, they have real values in lives and stuff like that. What makes you think that they would take better care of their car if you don't give it to them? Like, just give them the car, man. And like, if it's someone that is messy and that is already, I don't care whether they pay for it or they don't, they won't take care of it, And if there are people that buy Essence, they already take good care of their stuff. They already grateful. Whether they pay for it or you gifted them, they will be more grateful. And even more if it's a gift, you take even better care of it. Like for me, if something is given to me, oh my God, I don't want to break it. I have this little box here, this little music box that was gifted to me when I was 5 years old by my nanny. I still have that box. I didn't throw it away because it was a gift. Most of the stuff that I keep, because it was a gift, it's more precious, it's more valuable to me than something that I would work hard and spend a lot of money on, because I need to, someone made me that gift. I need to honor it and take great care of it. So sometimes we try to be harder on our kids and teach them stuff. Sometimes I'm too hard also on my son, but it's only when I respond to a behavior. If I identify a behavior that is I recognize from my father or something I don't like, then I'm a little tough because I'm correcting the behavior. Otherwise, I let him. I give him freedom. I give him the toys. I'm like, if you're good, if you're polite, if you're grateful, if you play with the toys, I'll buy you more toys, But if I feel like I'm buying you toys, you're not playing with them, you're ungrateful, you're already asking for something else, then you can't. You need to earn them, And so yeah, I'm not. It's also good to want to teach, You give your kids everything. It's totally good to teach them something the way you see it, But don't be too harsh on yourself either. Know that the energy is always redirected, okay, to who you are. So if you're a good person, no matter what you do, your energy will redirect it to something positive. If you're not redirecting it to gaining something like a car or buying something you like, you will give it to charity or invest into your next training or whatever. It's a cycle. So trusting in each other as well. All right, guys, so that was my little answer to a few of the posts that I've seen, um, and how I see personally. And I'm not judging anybody because, like I said, everybody has their own experience and their own thing, their own way to see things, and experiences. Um, but yeah, that's mine. All right, guys, have a great day and see you soon. I'm back to work on my oracles now and these book trainings. I'm working all at the same time. Sometimes I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna write this on the team building, or I'm gonna write this on the oracle. Then, oh, I'm gonna apply for that job, and trying to also stay involved in the community online. But like I said, um, we're here to be humans, also to bring the heaven on earth, but we're also here to experience real relationships, real connections, in everyday life. Not just the social media. The social media is a doorway, an opening, a gateway towards it. But if it just then stays online, it stays in the ether, how do you want to manifest it? So, and sometimes you don't want it to be public. Sometimes it's good to have a one-to-one conversation with someone. And if you have a question, then ask it. It doesn't have to be a complicated thing in front of everybody, or not daring, whatever. Just write to the people and dare ask your questions, or invite. I don't know, I don't do this anymore because I just spent my last year inviting and traveling and doing all this kind of stuff for relationships, and then I was like, now I just feel so stupid. So I stopped doing that. I'm like, now I'm waiting. I was at this jewelry store in Peru, and there was this beautiful gold ring, and I was like, oh my god, this is the perfect gold ring. It's like there was a diamond. It was like a kind of like an engagement ring a little bit, and it was falling perfect, on my I don't know how you call it, that finger and stuff. I was like, oh my god, I love it. Oh, it's so cute. And they were like, yeah, get it. I was like, no, but I want someone to buy this for me. Like, I don't. There's some stuff I don't want to do for myself. I want people to gift it to me, And I was like, nah, that's it. um yeah, people have to make efforts for you too. you know all right, have a good day, everybody. Love you always, and take good care of yourselves. Bye bye.